Today we are going to be making a face map. So we're going to be drawing portraits and learning about the proportions of the face. Of course, everybody has totally different faces and very different facial features, but for the most part, we follow very similar proportions. It might be slightly higher or lower or wider or slimmer, but this will be a good guide to help you draw most any face. So we'll start off with a map today. It looks kind of like a robot alien. And then in a later class, we'll put tracing paper on top and we'll draw a real person on top of it. So for today, we're just going to be talking about the proportions and creating this map. Okay, so for our face map today, all that you need is a piece of printer paper, a ruler, and a pencil and eraser. I'm going to be using a Sharpie just so it shows up better on the screen for you guys, but you guys use pencil and eraser. So the measurements that we are using today are just measurements that will make it easier for you to draw this map. They're kind of arbitrary. You don't need to remember these measurements when you are drawing a portrait. This is just to make our maps easy. So I'm going to start by making the height of the head, so top to bottom. And for this purpose today, I'm going to make it 8 inches. I want my head to be 8 inches tall. And I'm going to move that down to like the middle of my paper because I don't want my head to be like at the top. So pay attention to your ruler. 0 usually is not at the very end of the ruler. There's usually a little space and then a big line, and that is 0. So pay attention to that before you start measuring. I'm gonna kind of scoochy it down here so that my 8 inches is kind of centered on the paper. It doesn't have to be perfect, just somewhere around here. I'm gonna flip my ruler over because I'm left-handed. And here's my 0 to 8. Hold my ruler with 2 fingers like this so it doesn't wiggle on me. There you go. So that is 8 inches. Now I want to find the halfway point of this to make a crossbar for my face. So if this is 8 inches, then I need to make a little mark at the halfway, which is 4. Boop. So I'm just going to make a little mark like that to let me know where my halfway point is. And then I'm going to be making this map 5 inches wide. So I'm going to measure on that halfway line, and I want my 5 inches to be split evenly on this horizontal line. So at this little mark, I will move my ruler to where this vertical line touches the ruler at 2.5. And I'm going to go from 0 to 5. So now I have a perfect crossbar, 8-inch vertical, 5-inch horizontal, and they're both split evenly. Okay, next step is we are going to draw our egg head. So it's going to be shaped like an upside down egg. If it's not perfect, that's okay because this is just our map and we can kind of tweak it on the tracing paper. So this part's going to be bigger, round, and then this one can go a little bit smaller for our chin. So I'm just going to go from section to section. Woof, that's not perfect. That's okay. Okay, now we're going to be drawing more reference lines and labeling which facial features belong on that line. So if we've split our face in half, do you know what is the halfway point of our face? Look, I brought myself for reference in case you missed me. So the halfway point of your face is your eyes. And you can kind of take a finger measurement on your face and see from the eyes to the top of the head and then your eyes to the bottom of the chin. Your eyes are the halfway point. So on this halfway point here, I'm going to write eyes. All right. Now, from here, I'm going to find my next reference point. And I'm going to go from my eyes to my chin, and I'm going to find the halfway point there. And from my eyes to my chin, I have 4 inches. So the halfway point would be 2 inches. I'll make a little notch at 2 inches. Boop. And then I'm going to turn my ruler horizontally and draw that line, horizontal line. And this halfway point, can you guess what this is the tip of your nose. So if you take a little measurement here, from my eyes to the tip of my nose and tip of my nose to the bottom of my chin, this is the halfway from eyes to chin. So I'm going to write on this line, tip of nose. So like the very bottom, if your septum is the lowest part of your nose, your septum would like sit on that line. Okay, next measurement, we are going to break down between the tip of your nose and your chin, and we're going to split that in half. So this measurement is 2 inches. So at the 1 inch mark, I'll make a little dot, turn my ruler sideways, and draw that horizontal line. And this measurement is going to be the bottom of your lip. So from my bottom of my nose to the bottom of my lip is the same as bottom of my lip to my chin. Of course, like people's faces vary. Like some people have higher eyes or like bigger foreheads or longer noses, but typically you kind of fall in this area with maybe just some slight adjustments. Okay, now we are going to look at our ears. In this picture, my ears aren't showing, but I want you to kind of feel where your ears are on your face and what they line up with. So typically your ears are going to fit between your eyes and the tip of your nose in this space right here. So we're going to go from this eye line to this nose line, and we're going to draw like a little box there, and that's going to be ears. I'll do one over here too. Boop. And then your neck, if you feel on your neck, you can't really see mine because my hair is covering and I'm like leaning forward. But if you feel your neck, where it starts on your head, feel up your neck until it touches like the sides of your face. Your neck comes from right underneath your ears. And so you don't want to draw like a little tiny neck like this. You'll look like a cartoon person. You don't want to draw a neck that's like crazy thick or you'll look like super muscle man. But your neck comes from your ears. So you could draw this like straight down like this. Or if you want to create more like a feminine neck, you can kind of taper it in a little bit like this, so it's not so squared off. If you want a more muscular neck, you can keep it straight. So I'm going to kind of go round it in a little bit. So right from the bottom of my ears, go into my neck. Okay, now we're going to start adding some detail references inside of our face, starting with our eyes. So if you are looking straight forward at someone, your person would have 5 eyes fit across of their head. So you may have heard that the space between your eyes is the same width as your eye. So like you can take this eye and put it in the middle as your third eye. You would also be able to fit 2 eyes on the sides of your head here. So you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes that could fit across your face. And how convenient, we made our face 5 inches wide. So on this eye line, you're gonna place your ruler, remember 0 at the end. And at every inch, we're gonna make a little notch. So at 1 inch, I'm gonna do notch, 2, notch, 3, notch, 4, notch, and 5 will be the end of the face here. And then in between each one of these notches, we're gonna draw little football shapes or little eyeball shapes. Whoop, whoop. So we're gonna start looking kind of like aliens. All right, we have our 5 eyes. Now we want to just figure out where our nose should go. We know where it needs to end, like vertically on our face. We would need to know how wide it should go horizontally. So your nose at the widest part, which is your nostril flares probably, point to the your tear ducts in your eye. So at the very corner of your eye is where your nostrils line up like this. See? Corner of my eye, nostrils line up. Kind of feel for it on your own face. Of course, some people have noses that are a little bit bigger. Some people have small noses. So it is going to vary a little bit, but it's for the most part going to stay in this range. So at the corner, this is my real eye here, and this is my real eye here. The corner of those real eyes, we're going to draw a line down to our nose line. This eye, and then on this side too. So inside of here, your nose is going to fit. All right, and then we're going to look at the width of your mouth. So your mouth, the widest part of your mouth is going to be in line with your pupils. So you can see here, the widest part of my mouth is lined up with my pupils. Here. Same thing, you can have a small mouth, you can have a bigger mouth, but for the most part, it will line up with your pupils. So if your pupils are like in the middle of these eyes here, then we'll draw a line from the center of your eye down to the mouth line. Boop. And then the center of this eye down to the mouth line. Boop. And that is like the width of your mouth. So your mouth would fit inside of this section here. Okay, and that is our face map. It looks like kind of crazy alien robot right now, but next class we're gonna put tracing paper on top of it and we'll look at how to draw real facial features. So put your name and class code on this paper and I will have them for you next class. Bye.